For this month's Community Safety Watch, we're going out to a quiet street in Torrance that could be yours. Reporter Alexis Sita joins the Torrance Police Department for information all homeowners should know.
Well, it looks innocent enough. Somebody knocks on the front door of a home on this quiet residential street, but when they start to move to the back of the house, things can become quite serious. I'm talking about a home break-in. The bad news is they're on the rise here in LA County. The good news is there are simple things that residents and neighbors can do to help stop these kinds of crimes. And for that information, I am joined by Detective Mick Estrada of the Torrance Police Department. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we have heard the news that there is this recent wave of home break-ins. But these are different from elaborately planned break-ins or home invasions, correct?
Correct. These are different. They happen fast, they happen quick, and before you know it, they're running to the getaway car and they're out of sight.
So we are going to show everybody what one of these break-ins looks like. It's for neighbors so they know what some of those red flags are, and also for residents so they know why certain homes are more appealing to burglars than others. So first, set the scene for us. Where are we and what time of day is it?
We're in the city of Torrance in an affluent neighborhood. Most of the times it's between 8 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you have people at work and kids at school.
And so we have this car that's pulling up. Who is in this car?
Most commonly, there's going to be a female driver in the company of a male, either one or more people inside the car.
Why do they have a female driver?
Well, people think females aren't criminals, and people think that, females don't look suspicious.
So let's talk about the car, because there are red flags that residents should be aware of.
These red flag clues can be anywhere from no license plates to paper plates to an unknown item covering the rear license plate.
What kind of cars are these?
Sometimes you'll get rental cars, sometimes you will get stolen vehicles, but for the most part, they're American-made cars.
Okay, so something very nondescript looking again. They've done their homework, they've chosen this house. There are also things around the front stoop, things that might seem innocent enough to the average person, but there are also things that might tip off burglars that people aren't home. So what are some of those things?
Well, those items could be anywhere from shoes left on the porch, a UPS box, newspapers, and mail. And
let's just talk about the shoes left in front of the house, because it presents an interesting situation. Everything is based on assumption by these burglars, and they're also assuming certain stereotypes when they see shoes left on the front porch.
During my interviews on a number of suspects that were arrested for residential burglary, they have told me that they usually pick out Asian family type houses. And for that matter, they believe that Asians don't believe in banks. Therefore, when they break in, they're going to come in contact with money, jewelry items, and be in the wind.
Again, this is an assumption that they're making, but they're just using that assumption to increase their odds of getting a better payday, correct?
That's correct.
So they found their house. What's going to happen once they get out of the car?
Well, when they exit the car, there's going to be a person who is standing in front of the house as a lookout talking on the cell phone. Shortly thereafter, there's going to be a suspect that approaches the porch, and he's going to be knocking at the door. So
they knock on the door and they get no answers, and they move to the back of the house, and that's where all the action is going to really happen, correct?
Correct. As they move to the rear of the house, they're going to be concealed where nobody can actually see the suspects breaking into the house.
If residents or neighbors see some of the red flags that we've mentioned, that's the time to really call the police. About how long are they going to be inside the home?
Anywhere from 5 minutes to 45 minutes.
And what exactly are they looking for inside the house?
When the suspects go inside the house, they're going to ransack the rooms, specifically bedrooms, because in bedrooms you have jewelry, you have money, you have guns, you have PlayStations, small items that they can easily exit and flee with.
So once they have what they want and they start to leave the house, what happens next?
After they leave the house, the lookout person is going to be on his cell phone talking to the person driving the car. As a person comes up in the car, everyone who has committed this crime is in fact going to jump in and take off.
Again, they're going on the assumption that no one is home, and to find that out, they knock on the front door. But what happens if they knock on the front door and someone actually answers the door?
If they knock on the front door and the homeowner answers the door, the suspects are going to use a ruse. They're going to ask the person if John Smith lives here. They're going to ask the person if he's interested in doing some home improvement work to their house.
At that point, the resident should really call the police if they notice anything suspicious.
Correct, and this is the chance to where the homeowners can actually get descriptive information, getting the race, getting the gender, getting the clothing description, and the height and weight.
Now, the worst case scenario that could happen is if the burglars, they knock on the door, they do the break-in because they think someone is, no one is at home, but they actually do encounter the homeowner. And this could happen with the elderly or somebody who is hard of hearing. So what happens in that scenario?
Well, if a suspect enters a house and the homeowner is in fact home, most commonly the suspect is going to take off because he doesn't want to encounter any problems.
And what should the resident do then if they actually do encounter the suspect?
In that case, the resident should in fact run outside to a neighbor's house and immediately call 911.
We should mention not to confront the suspect, to really just get out of the house.
Yes.
It's so important to know your neighbors and know the people that live on your block, know who belongs here and know who doesn't. So important information. Thank you very much for joining us, Detective Mick Estrada, for this edition of Community Safety Watch. We will be back next month with more safety information about the community. For now, I'm Alexis Sita. Back to you in the studio.